Hello everybody, welcome back to Kali Linux Fundamentals course. Today we will discuss Module 3 Part 2. We'll discuss some useful commands like the man command, which is something like the help command in Windows, which gives you some description about the command, any command you can use in Kali Linux. Then we will talk about the cat command, which is can display the contents of any file on the screen. The similar command, which is echo, which is used to print some text or string on the screen. Then we will talk about the ID command, which is used to display the information about the current user logging to the system, which can be used either also in the information gathering process in penetration testing. Then we will talk about the bash command, which is used to run bash scripts if you are going to write down your customized tool that you will be used in your penetration testing. If it is written in the bash language, you can use this command to run such scripts. Then we will talk about the def or disk file system command, which gives you some information about the disk space available on your system and so on. Then we will discuss another good commands in network commands like the ping and ifconfig and ifconfig promiscuous, which is very important to enable such mode, and we will discuss why you should enable this mode. Then we will talk about the netstat, which will give you statistics about your network traffic, and the iwconfig, which is similar to ifconfig to gives you information about the configuration for the wireless card. Then we will talk about the dcommand and slookups, which are tools used for troubleshooting DNS servers. And the last command will be traceroute, which map the route to some destination or some device on your network and so on. So let's start. Some useful commands like the man. First command we will discuss today is command, used to display the user manual of any command. If you are going to use a command and you don't know much about this command and you want to see a description, full description about this command and what are the options available you can use with this command and examples of how to use this command. So the command and the tool you can use to get all this information is the man command. It will display the user manual of any command that we can run on the terminal. It provides a detailed view of the commands, what are the description and options we can use and examples for this command. Then the command which is called cat, one of its most commonly known usage is to print the content of a file onto a standard output stream. So if you want to read the contents of a text file, for example, and you don't want to open it with any text editor on Kali Linux that we discussed before, so you can use this command cat to display the contents of this text file without going to any text editor you can use. Then we will talk about the echo command, which is used for displaying lines of text or strings which are passed as arguments on the command line if you are typing or developing your customized penetration testing tool. So and you want to print any message on the screen, for example, you can use this command, which is called echo. It will display lines or text on the screen as arguments on the command line. Then we will talk about the command which can be used in information gathering, which is ID, used to print the effective user ID or group ID. It's very useful to know about the logging user in currently on the system in information gathering, and to start to know about the administrators or the root users on the system and so on. This will be very useful in your penetration testing. So the one of the commands that we use in penetration testing is ID, which gives you about more information about the current user logging, and it's very useful tool for user management. Then we will talk about bash, which is a very good command to use in running the bash script or the bash language interpreter scripts that are written in bash language to execute commands and read from the standard input and or from a file to run bash scripts, you can use any bash or your customized tools, as we said. So if you have any bash script, you can use this command to run such scripts. Then we will talk about the dev, or which stands for the disk space to disk file system. Once we installed Kali Linux or imported it, as we showed you in the first videos on this course, you have to check the disk space, because we have to make an updates and upgrades to your system. It's very recommended to do so. So before you do an upgrade or an update to your system, it is recommended to use the command df to check the disk space before doing so, because you may face some problems if you don't have enough space to make an update or upgrade. So it's very useful tool to in disk system management and administration to check the disk space before doing an update or upgrade to your system. Now we will talk about some network commands. The first command we usually use in network is ping. It's very useful tool to troubleshoot connectivity. If you want to check the connectivity to another computer on the network, if you are trying to make a penetration testing on your network, so you have to use this command, ping command, which you can troubleshoot connectivity if you have any problems with the connectivity to another computer or server in your network. Reachability, if you want to access internet, you have a problem with the internet, for example, and you are not connected to the internet, you can use ping to ping Google, for example, to check the reachability to internet and so on. And in name resolution as well, if you have to check if you have a problem with the DNS server or not, which can translate from the IP address to the name and vice versa. So if you can use this command to check the name resolution problems if you have any DNS problems or so on. Then we use the famous command, which is ifconfig, used for displaying current network configuration information. This is very useful also in information gathering, because knowing the IP address of the machine and the net mask and broadcast address and so on is very useful information that we can use to map a network we are trying to make a penetration testing to. So ifconfig will display the current network configuration on this system, like the IP address, net mask, and broadcast address. And also it can be used to configure and add your configuration, your customized or manual configuration to your card. Then we can use also with another mode, which is promiscuous mode, which is making the interface promiscuous. Means that it is the interface we're going to pick up all traffic and listen to everything on the network. This is very useful when you are trying to make a penetration testing to your network, and we will use one of the pre-installed tools called Wireshark in Kali Linux to capture the packets on the network and begin to analyze this packet to get some information about the targets, and to detect also if you have any hackers on your system or your network. It's very useful. So to be able to capture the packets and listen to everything on your network, you have to enable this mode, which is promiscuous mode, and this is the command is used to enable the promiscuous mode, ifconfig. Then choosing which interface you have to enable this mode on. You may, as we said before, on servers, for example, we may have many interfaces. So to enable the promiscuous mode on a specific interface, you have to specify the number of this interface. Otherwise, if you want to disable the promiscuous instead of enabling it, you can use the next command we have, ifconfig Ethernet number, the number of interface you want to disable the promiscuous mode on, then dash promisec, which means that this command to used to disable the promiscuous mode. The next command we will discuss is traceroute, which is a troubleshooting tool, another troubleshooting tool that can help you map out a path or see the route to a particular domain. If you are trying to reach another computer or a server on your network, and you got stuck in some place in this path. So to troubleshoot where is the problem exactly found, you can use this command traceroute to map the path to the destination to get about information about this problem and to start to solve this problem. But the problem with the traceroute is it is have a restriction to 30 hop only maximum. So if you use the command traceroute with DNS, Google DNS for example, it won't reach the Google DNS for sure, because it is limited to 30 hop maximum. Then we will talk about the netstate, which is used for troubleshooting and configuration, and we'll actually list all the open connections currently on the system and open ports. It's very useful in information gathering as well, to get information about open ports, routing tables, outgoing and incoming connections on your system or on your network actually, and usage and statistics, different statistics on your network configuration, and it is used as a monitoring tool as well. Then we will talk about the DIG, which is used to gather information about DNS. If you want to make a web penetration testing on a website, DIG is one of the commands we usually use to gather information about the DNS server. Once you get information about the DNS server, you can collect more information about your target and proceed with the penetration testing and get all the vulnerabilities that this target have. Network commands also, we will talk about the NSLOCUP, which is another tool and useful command for getting information from the DNS server. It is a network administration tool for querying the domain name system or the DNS to obtain name or IP address mapping or any other specific DNS records, which is very useful in the web penetration testing as well, as I said, to gather more information about your target and start to get all the vulnerabilities that may found on this domain and so on. Then we will talk about the IWconfig, which is similar to ifconfig command in the sense, but with the kernel residence network interface, but it is dedicated also only for the wireless network interfaces only, as we know. We may have many interfaces. One of them may be the wireless card. So if you want to focus only on the wireless configuration, wireless networks or wireless interfaces only configuration information, you can use IWconfig and get all the configuration of the wireless cards. It's used to set parameters as well, similar to ifconfig. You can use it to set the wireless operation like SSID, frequency, and so on. So this was a very quick demonstration to some useful commands on Kali Linux, and some network commands you can use to troubleshoot and to get information about your target. If you have any questions, you can contact us on our group on Facebook, Information Security Tutorials. Thank you.